Okay, today we are going to cover indirect activity allocation. KS01 first will create a cost center, and our controlling area is different. So OKKS, PAP9, KS01, E1009, 01. Okay, quality control. This will be quality assurance. If we have such a category, I guess we'll take this one, service cost center, and hierarchy area will be the same, and save. Okay, next is numbering range, K and K. AP9, RKL, RKL, actual activity allocation element to group. Next is RKIL, inverse activity allocation. Okay, and RKN, element to group. KSI, zero actual cost center split. KSII, actual price calculation. Okay, save. Changes have been saved. So we have added RKL, actual activity, RKIL, inverse activity, KSII, actual price, and actual cost center split. These are transactions that will happen. Okay. Next is AK01. Statistical key figure is item master data, because this activity will be based on the number of items that pass, not fail, not all, only pass through quality control. The failed ones will not count as overheads. Distinct items, each total values. Okay. Save. This was saved. Next is FS00, PAP9. We have cafeteria. Copy. 6. Okay, now this will be testing charges manual. Testing charges manual. And cost element category will be not assessment, but internal activity allocation. Save. Okay. Now, we have created 3 to 4 things: cost center, GL account, statistical key figure. Okay. And now we'll create activity type. PSHRM 01 master data. Testing hours manual. Activity unit will be hours. Okay. Cost center categories. That cost center categories. All cost centers can use this activity type. Okay. And activity type category. Now, what is this? This is manual entry, manual allocation, indirect determination, indirect allocation. What we're going to do is, what is the activity that is happening? That is basically that the manufactured products will be put through quality control. And quality control itself is not a production cost center, but it will count and pass the testing items and the time it will take to pass and count those items. That will determine how many hours these hours have been spent, and those hours will be absorbed on the material. So indirect. So we are counting items to determine the hours that are charged. So indirect activity, okay, and allocation. We have manual 26, okay. Price indicator will be plan price. It will be decided automatically and calculated automatically based on activity, counting activity. How many items have been counted? In 1 hour, you can count 20. You can also count 100 based on the activity. It will depend. So you are actually charging per hour based on the counting. That's why it's indirect. Okay. Actual activity type category will be as it will be planned. Price indicator. Price indicator, actual price based on activity. Actual price automatically based on capacity. We are not dealing with capacity. We are dealing with activity that is counting. Manually determined. No, we are not manually determining. We are doing it on activity. Okay. Just activity type has been created. Now, next step is we create another identical to 7, and this will be auto. Automatic, same control data, 43, internal activity allocation, and we'll save it. Next associated with this is KL01. First, it was testing our manual. Now, A, automatic master data, activity unit, our all cost centers, activity type category, indirect allocation. Okay. Since this is auto, manual entry, indirect allocation, indirect determination, indirect allocation. Since this is auto, we'll check for 3. Okay. And testing hours 1027. Price indicator will be based on the plan price we will enter in the next steps. Plan price automatic based on activity. This will be blank. Now we have created actual price automatically. Now this will pick the price automatically. Okay. And we'll save it. Activity type has been saved. Next step is KAH1, cost element group, overhead cost, PAP9, overhead cost. Okay. Overhead costs, and we'll add cost elements 400, 500, 400, 600, salary and rent account, and we'll save it. Okay. Next is KLH1. Activity type group, testing of the units, the counting, hierarchy, testing quality control, activity type, TSHRM and TSHRA. Testing hours manual and testing hours auto. Okay. Next step is an important step in cost accounting. OKES, that is splitting structure. Okay. Now we have a splitting structure, ZAP. Okay. So we'll create, first we'll create a rule. Okay. And the rule is, here we will tell the method of how to pick up the counting activity, the activity type. Walaikum assalam, Osama. Activity type, how it will be counted and how the overheads will be calculated. New entry, PAP1. Okay. And method 21 Equivalence number planning. Equivalence means the numbers that we will count of the items in quality control process. That will be equivalence number, equal to that number. Okay, that is one method. Okay. And what are other methods in this? This can be asked in interviews. Yes, Usama, you'll get the recording. Okay. 21, equivalence number, activity quantity, no splitting. So over here, we're going to split the cost over the cost centers and absorb it in the material. Activity quantity planning, capacity planning, output planning, statistical key figure, plan quantity, plan max quantity, output planning, capacity planning, activity quantity. So over here, we'll go for equivalence number because it is an activity of counting numbers. Okay, 21. Save. Okay. PAP group FICO config. Okay. Once this is done, the next step is we'll select this rule and we'll click selection for rules. Okay. New entries. Version is 0. Now this is actual and plan version. We've already studied this in the past lectures. In the previous lectures, we'll just save that. Okay. Now we'll go for splitting structures. Now, splitting structures will create new entries. Now we are going to tell how this will be done. Okay. Okay. Yes, Usama, what are you asking? Okay. Just a second. Okay. P1, PAP9, splitting structure. This is an important part for CO. Okay. Now, we will assign what we have actually made. Okay. Sorry, PA1 rule will be LA. Now, this is the rule. PAP1 is getting from here, the one that we just created. Okay. Okay. Enter. Selection for assignment. New entries. Now, this is the technical part. Okay. Over here, we will enter overhead cost and test. In overhead cost, we have 400, 500 cost element and 400, 600 cost element for calculating the overhead cost. Activity type. Now, what we are going to do is 400, 500 cost element is for salary and rent. And based on the counting of the testing of items, we will distribute the overhead cost over the material. Save. Data was saved. Okay. Next step is, so our structure name is P1, assignment PA1, splitting rule PAP1, controlling area is PAP9. Okay. Now, OKEW. P1009, this is our cost center. All versions. And what else? Change of fiscal year 2024. Change. Okay. Over here, we are going to assign our splitting structure, P1. Okay. And that is P1 sign. So splitting structure will now calculate the overhead cost. Whatever salary and rentals will actually go through this cost center using the quality control process, whether it's automated or manual. Okay. I hope this is clear. Yeah, it is a little
Yes, sir.
tricky, but once you actually get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. Okay. Okay. Controlling cost center accounting. Actual postings, period and closings, activity allocation. Now this is indirect activity that we are doing. Okay. Price calculation. Now what is the relationship over here for price calculation? Let me first configure it and then I will tell you. Settings for cost component split. Define cost component structure. Okay. Cost component structure. Now, this is an important part. This is usually asked for CO interviews, for controlling area interviews, for costing interviews. Okay, now we have the cost component structures that are active over here. And we will select this, copy as P2. Okay. Active. Escape, escape, escape. Since we are copying it and these are some sample cost elements that are coming up because this is not our chart of accounts. So we'll have to build our own splitting structure using our chart of accounts. Okay. Active. Maintenance. Okay. Now P2 will select this attributes. Now, what we can do, I'll make it a little easier because this might be a little, I'll reconfigure it. Okay. ZAP 9, copy as P2. Continue. Cost component with attributes. Oh, okay. Now we have this splitting structure has some heads. Okay. Now, what is this 10, 30, 50, 90? These are numberings, serial numbers. That's it. Because the system has to see what overheads it has to collect and distribute based on the activity type. Okay. So this is what we are going to have. Okay. And we'll save it. So it will distribute rentals, salaries, electricity, consumables, all these expenses will be then distributed to the cost centers. Okay. Now, cost component structure 30. Chart of accounts. No, this is not chart of account I wanted over here. Okay, okay. New entries P2, chart of accounts PAP9. PAP9 from cost element 400,392 and cost component is 30. Okay. Save. I will delete this one. Okay. Cost center with attributes. I'll go to 50. New entries P2, chart of accounts PAP9, 400, 600, 50. Okay. Element ZAP9 will be deleted. Save. Attributes. Now salaries. Inventories P2, PAP9, 400, 500. Cost component structure is okay. Come on. Oh,